up and they've some upgrade they're doing. They're blaming NBN. I don't know what the go is. I'm streaming on my phone right now. It's really disappointing.
Yeah, look, it's what's actually happening is there's too much load on the system. The system can't handle it because we're still using basic old copper, and yeah, it's unable to handle COVID basically.
It's even slow at 11 o'clock at night when I'm watching Levi Casbolt highlights. It's buffering all the time. Maybe that's the problem. Greg, thank you for joining us. We're back. Hopefully, we're back to stay. Apologies for that. We'll blame the NBN Co. We'll send them a bill for our lost revenues, mate.
Yeah, I just completely froze and then got kicked out.
Okay, so where were we? Talking about best players. I was talking about Sam Walsh, and I put it out there during the week. Sam Walsh is probably got to be considered our best player right now, and that's what are we saying for a second year player? Certainly the most in-form player with him and Wiedering.
Yeah, those two will pretty much fight out the BNF at the moment, won't they?
Yeah, and as I said, he started off the year a bit slow, did Walshy, but he's sort of come into his own now, and he's doing it all. He's delivering the forward 50. If you should take a look at that, and he's hitting the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, Timmy O'Connor. That's a great response.
One night, Deb, we'll run a nice bubble bath. We'll put some candles on, and we'll set some champagne, and we'll share the Levi Casbolt highlights. Wash each other's backs. That'll be a nice night in.
All right, back to the footy. I've just got all of a sudden.
Who was your best on the weekend, mate?
To half time, probably Martin. Through the whole game, Walsh. Yeah, he just never stopped trying. And I want everyone to discuss that 3/4 time pass from Martin. I thought at the time was because he's got the yips a little going for goal, which is a bit of a shame because he's one of the best kicks in the league. Mm-hmm. Just lost his confidence and was just trying to give it off to someone who can take a better shot. It's not something he should have done. He should take the responsibility on and go back and kick it. If it's a point, but take the responsibility on.
Don't think he'll make that mistake again. It wasn't such the pass. It was actually passing to Cripper. You wouldn't pass to Cripper in front of goal 5 metres out, let alone 20 metres out.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm really bemused that the Cripper hasn't worked on his kicking style. It seems to just got worse. Clearly, he has got the yips. He's got this little hop, step, and jump like Josh Kennedy's had a little while ago, and he just seems to be sticking with that same style. So I don't know whether he's working on it for a player of his caliber, and he just doesn't have seemed to done anything to address his actual goal kicking style.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? They really do you stick with what you know and try to get your craft right, get your approach right by only tweaking little things rather than going through your whole routine and starting again. I don't know. It's all up here, so it's hard to say. It could differ from player to player, from match to match. It's really hard one.
Russell Dobson says Cripps to Severio classes. Yeah, let's get Sav back up in the hub quick smart. He obviously just did a lot to sort out Levi's kicking. So, let's get Big Sav back on board again. Gina Harris. G'day, Gina, all the way up from Corowa. That's a nice
My country.
That's a nice
I'm the Yarrawonga boy. So that's only, 20 minutes away.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Adrian says, Levi needs to work with Cripper. Why not?
Hey, I like this one.
Yeah, look, a great footy brain, a great understander of footy. You know, he's worked with Brisbane, and what he did up there has clearly paid dividends. You know, you hear from him in the media. He's probably the only media analytical person you really want to hear from. All the rest have just got no freaking idea. But he analyses things, you know, to a degree that he's clearly understands the modern game, and I'd be a really good get if we could get Luke Hodge within the footy club for sure.
Saying that, you know, that our coaching staff and all that will probably get cut back a fair bit. I think our forwards coach, who's our forwards coach? I think he would be just about ready to go. But I love that Luke Hodge idea if you can get him in. Imagine him and Power working together. Oh my God, you know, two of the best of their time. You know, really, would be amazing. Has anyone else noticed on the commentary Luke Hodge is getting a little bit ganged up on by the others because he is so good?
He certainly put BT in his place the other night.
I didn't see it. What happened?
Oh, I think BT was just trying to be funny, as he does. And no, he's not. And you know, Hodgie was trying to make a serious, you know, comment or analyse something serious, and really shut him down.
Yeah. Okay. That's I can't stand him. You know, he was good on the radio in the early days, but I think his eyesight's getting the better of him. He's really finding it difficult to pick out players, and he's just saying that player, or yeah.
Paul quickly says, no, it was Anthony Ross. Sorry, BT putting words in Hodges' mouth. That's it. He was trying to bait him more than anything. I think it was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Didn't see it, and probably if it was a game, was it our game? Because if it was a game that I was watching, I probably had the sound off. You know, to be honest, with my guitar out, getting down and trying to tune out another song about how much I hate Collingwood.
Well, I'm sure you wouldn't be too hard to whip something up for BT. We'll give us I'll give you a couple of days to do that. A few people want to talk about Cripper. Well, since we were mentioning with goal kicking, last week we managed some players. You know, he copped a knock last week. He's probably still a late fitness test for tomorrow. You know, he's never going to want to be managed or have a rest. Is it something we should be considering? Yeah. Or is it just the fact that, you know, his numbers aren't there because we've got other blokes sharing the load now, and he hasn't had to you know, get those big contested numbers that we know that he can do? Yeah,
look, he wouldn't accept it, but I'd say get Kennedy in, see what the guys can do without him. I'm more than happy with that. You know, the growth that would come out of that would be immense. So do it. Why not? I think you'd drag him out kicking and screaming, though.
No, 100%. I'm not sure what game we won without him last year, or there was a few games we didn't have without him. But you know, we did show that we weren't a one-man band in that particular you know, section of games that didn't play in. And Kennedy's, you know, not a cripper, but he's shown himself to be really you know, capable in there and flexible. And now when we move on to selection this week, I'm surprised he hasn't come back in.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
Okay, let's probably have a chat about this week. The less we talk about, the filth, the better. Someone said we'll finish 8th, I'll finish 9th. That would please me to no end. That would be that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, well, first cab off the rank is that Essendon got done, so that's you know, that puts them back in their place after winning last week. You know, tomorrow night's game before ours is just as fascinating as our game is. What can Sydney do against Melbourne? You know, can they finally show something? You know, and not beyond the realms of possibility. Pardon me, Melbourne are up and down like a fiddler's elbow. So that's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, the whole 4 games remaining, there's lots of twists and turns that play out. You know, teams like Sydney now, Adelaide are up and about. Freo can win games. St Kilda are on the down potentially. It's just going to be a fascinating next 4 weeks. It'd be so lovely to keep our season alive against GWS, who now they've hit some form as well. So it's going to be a hard job.
Yeah, so that's why I say don't get down at the moment, people. The maths is still there. We can still make it, and it's not impossible. It's not a 1,000,000 to 1 shot. It's quite probable. We've just got to keep winning games of footy, especially this GWS game. But like I said, if Sydney and Adelaide we lose against them, then all bets are off. The season's done. We start playing kids.
Alrighty, so on to that GWS game. Tomorrow night, of course, Thursday night, a quick turnaround. The teams are in, and if you haven't heard, which you probably have, but out comes Lockie Plowman, who has got an injury to his back apparently. Michael Gibbons, who apparently is sore, is the word, or the word from the club at least anyway. Tommy de Koning has been omitted, and in comes Matthew Cottrell. Mitch McGovern, after a month on the sidelines and back into the side after being managed, is SPS. It's a fascinating selection for Carlton every week. There's lots of talk and debate about who's the ins and outs. Love to hear what everyone thinks about that. Let's start with the TDK omission. I think that TDK and Pitnet can't play in the same team. I've come to the conclusion it's not working, or it's not going to work. Do you think they've gone with Pitnet over TDK due to the Mumford factor? And do you agree with that selection?
Yes and yes. TDK doesn't have a big enough body to go with Mumford. He'd just get monstered out of it. So yes, Pitnet is definitely the guy for that particular contest. And if we're bringing back McGovern, we're too tall, so someone's got to go. A tall's got to go.
Overall, do you think the Pitnet TDK thing is working or worked?
No, because they're not going forward and clunky. So it's not yet, but doesn't. That's not to say that it won't. I'm also thinking with TDK too. He might be managed in terms of he's a bit sore. He's only very, very young into his career. We don't want to flog him at this sort of stage. So I'm not reading too much into that. It's probably time to have a bit of a rest. Over the next 3 games, people are going to be in and out, and there's going to be so many question marks put over it. But you've just got to think that they're being managed over a very, very short period of time, playing 4 games as it turns out to be. So yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I think everyone wants to see TDK come in. He has shown a lot. He hasn't disgraced himself at all. He's going to have a big future with the footy club. So I think we need to understand that it's been a match-up selection. The TDK will probably come in again over the next 4 games, and Pitnet may go out again. So, I think everyone here is agreeing with that. The Levi move into the ruck is obviously that second option as well, which has worked for us well. And now McGovern's back, allows Levi also to take a bit of that role as well when we need to.
Yeah, you make a good point there. And someone in the chat, I'm sorry to say,
Chris, thank you for joining us.
I missed it in terms of that's when Levi has been really great when playing that second ruck role. Getting him involved and getting his hands on the ball when he's been quiet down forward, and he hasn't had that opportunity to work himself into the game like that. So yeah, it could work really in our benefit from that angle.
Okay, so we are agreeing on that point. Let's move on to the other change, or one of the other changes. Lockie Plowman had his colours lowered on Sunday, but prior to that, he's put together some really solid footy. He has been a lockdown backman. He's done his role very, very well over the last few weeks, but disappointing for him. And probably disappointing, particularly the team we're playing against, who have got a few good forward options, and maybe he would have got Toby Green to start off first crack at Toby Green. But yeah, disappointing for Lockie. Who else comes out?
I like the idea of Willow to Toby Green. Now that he's being gifted a game, Toby Green that is, not Willow. I'd love to see Willow he's got the mongrel to go with him and not take a backward step.
Good, that'll be good learnings for him too. I'd love to see him punch on too. That'd be freaking awesome. I'd pay Willow's fine if he just went and give Toby Green one.
Well, he might see weeks, so that might be the end of his season, and a bit of next season has a bit of a problem.
It's all right for Toby Green to whack people and not get weeks.
Well, we're not GWS or Gold Coast, are we? We get hung out to dry when we do something bad.
I said we finished up with a Collingwood sort of discussion, but this sort of revolves around that, and we know that we lost SPS last week, and Paulson came in for him. I really liked Paulson's attack on the footy. I thought he was he played a really good job. He did a really good job. A bit fumbly, and probably took him a bit to get that pace up again of senior footy coming from scratchies. But I thought he attacked the footy really well. He competed one-on-one quite strongly. He was prepared to run and carry, which I wanted to see SPS do. So I really liked what he brought.
Yeah, it's he must have done well because no one bitched about him. No one flogged him. So he must have done well.
They only flogged him before he came into the side.
Yeah. Look, he definitely wasn't the reason we lost, was he? He played his role, and there was a lot of very quick ball coming into that forward line. So I think he did well. He'll only get better.
Yeah. Obviously, starting SPS on the bench, it'll be interesting to see whether they play that swapping role or not, or whether maybe SPS gets a different role, given the fact that Paulson's in there. Actually, SPS is starting on the back flank. My apologies.
Yeah.
But with Paulson in there, maybe they do open up SPS to try and have a crack up forward at some point, or run through the guts. It'll be interesting to see whether they sort of keep him down there, or whether he's pegged for that spot for the rest of his days.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I want to see SPS in the mid. That's his spot. But anyway, look, I like this idea of someone going to Whitfield. I think they get an enormous run and carry from him, and he sets his mids up, and then set their forwards up. Who would you put to him? I want to put that out there. Someone's mentioned, Paul Quixley's mentioned Curnow to take Whitfield. I reckon he would be more likely to go take someone in the midfield rather than someone running off half back. Who would you think? Who would you put there?
You maybe stick Paddy Dow head to head with him. Wouldn't hurt Paddy Dow to have a bit of a run with Roll as well and see if he can get some footy.
That's a bad idea.
Paddy doesn't necessarily or hasn't necessarily played that role previously, but he'll definitely see some ball if he goes to Whitfield. So maybe that's an option as well if we want Ed to go to someone in the guts.
Yeah, I like that idea. What's everyone's thoughts? Who would you put on Whitfield?
So many good matchups in this game, isn't it? We know De Boer is a good midfielder. Is quite often had the better of Cripper in a lot of cases. So that'll be an interesting matchup. We've already talked about Toby Green. Like you said, let's give Willow a crack at him. I think that'll work out really, really well. But they've got some really good players all over. Cornelio's another one. We'd probably want to try and probably maybe stick Ed to Cornelio maybe, or a Cottrell to run with him because he's fit enough. So they're a very, very, very good side, and they've just been down on form, and we're going to have to be at our best.
I kind of like this one from Anthony Walsh. Fisher on Whitfield.
Wow.
Yeah, Whitfield might have him in the air, but on the ground, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
I think maybe Fish is also another option for the Guts. He's come into the side full of mongrel, and he's attacking the footy up forward, and I think he's kicking those goals. He's kicking a goal a game since he's come back in, but maybe he's another one with that bit of more anger and a bit more body strength. Maybe we run him through the Guts as well. Same Walsh head to Cog. That'd be a good matchup too, wouldn't it? Walsh
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be run with; it'd just be head to head.
Yeah.
Really, you'd love to see that. But Nunes is a lockdown role. That's another very, very good one, Damien. I love that one too. I could really see that happening.
Gibbons, disappointing for him to come out. Again, bemusing that we didn't give him much, too much midfield time last week. It's really bemusing that that's not happening. But disappointing for Gibbo to come out. I think he hasn't missed a game since coming into the side. Someone will correct me on that if that's true. Not 100% sure, but disappointing for him to come out. I don't think it's anything serious, but I think we'll miss him in and around the packs.
Yeah, we will certainly. Again, another one of those players has got a bit of mongrel, and he would have been wonderful for Ruins, wouldn't he? Yeah. That would have been a great matchup. But, look, I think there was a point I was going to make, and it's gone. Off you go.
The one that fascinates me is the inclusion of Mitch McGovern. It seems to go against our selection of players for this year in terms of giving them some training, some block of fitness or some block of game time before putting them straight back in. I can't remember a player missing 4 or 5 weeks for us and not coming straight back in. Clearly, they think McGovern is a player that is part of our future and long term. I do as well, of course. But it's interesting that he would come straight back in and after not necessarily and not playing any footy for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I don't like it. To me, that has animal farm syndrome about it. That everyone's equal, but some are more equal than others. I don't like it. It sends a shit message.
Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong, and Debbie O'Connor's pointed this out, saying that we need Gov for forward direction. Yeah, we do need Gov. We need a fit, firing, in-form Mitch McGovern to do his role that he came into the footy club to play. But is he going to do that? Has he done that really so far this year? And is a player like Kennedy, who has had some form up his jumper this season, also able to do that role and be more flexible as well? We know Kennedy can play forward. We know that he's a good strong mark, and we know that he's also capable of running through the guts. So for me, I wouldn't have put McGovern straight back in. I would have given him some time in the scratchies, and I would have brought Kennedy in.
Yeah, I like that very much so. We're talking about should we rest Cripps? Well, maybe we rest him forward for a week, and stick Kennedy in there. If things go tits up, bring Cripps back in to the mid. It makes a lot more sense than bringing McGovern in when we've seen before that when he's not 100% fit, he'll do a couple of good efforts and then you won't see him for the rest of the game. And I really think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of people asking questions if he comes in and doesn't really do the role we need him to do. So, of course, we wish him best, and we hope that he can get in there and do the role we need him to play. His stats haven't been high when he's been playing. He has been playing that link-up role. His forward pressure's been very good. He does act as a bit of a foil on occasion for the two bigger forwards. He's a good player that can set up some goals. It'd be good to see him come in, and hopefully he does well.
And Adrian Hines, good point. Use him as a link on the wing, but if he's not fit enough, he can't be there. He's got to play out of the goal square. So it's something that I'm really, really not comfortable with at the moment. Like you say, a couple of weeks in the Magoos, in the Scrappies. We don't have a couple of weeks, I suppose. We've only got 4 games left. But couple and bring him in the last two games. Yeah, I don't really like this. Now, Chris Brighter, I want Andrew on the case of this. Someone found a stat regarding Paulson that Josh Thomas was killing us in the first half last week, and when Paulson went to him, he had 2 touches in the second half. I want to know if that's true. If that is true, then that's a stat that everyone can use. Any time that Paulson is bagged, just point that to them and say, right, there's a win.
Carlton, the man for Toby Green then, if that's the case.
He might get a shot, absolutely.
Yeah. Grego, is this the first time Betts and McGovern are playing together?
No, it's not. And I mentioned one of the games that they did play together at that Adelaide connection. They did this handball-y thing back and forward on the boundary line in the forward pocket, and it was such a thing that you can only get from playing a lot of years together. Is that understanding? So it's not their first. It's not their first time. It's not their first run.
Interesting stuff. Okay, so I think that covers the inclusions. Obviously, Matthew Cottrell gets another crack. That's good for him. He didn't put a foot wrong when he came to the side, and was out managed last week. So that's again interesting. But he comes in onto a wing, and we've got it's a good balanced side. I like it. We've gone back to our 3 talls or our 2 talls, and Mitch out there is that linking option. I think, Walsh is in form. Setterfield has been playing pretty good. We just
amazing. Setterfield's amazing.
Say that again. Sorry.
Setterfield's first half was amazing.
Yeah. So as all of us, we look like superstars in that first half.
Yeah, true.
I think they're heading towards our forwards. They're massive runners, GWS. So, yes, says Gina Harris. Anthony Wall says McGovern needs to impact the scoreboard for his confidence. Eddie in the same boat, needs to get some goals early. Well, Eddie turned back the clock, didn't he, in that first half? He was killing it, wasn't
he? Yeah, very dangerous. And that's my point. Did we become too Eddie-centric? Okay,
so another thing I wanted to talk about tonight, other than the games, was, we've talked about a potential target for the footy club moving forward. We've talked about Papley. We've talked about Port Adelaide guy, Ollie Wines, as being a potential target. Josh Kelly's name, coincidentally, we're playing the Giants this week, has also been bandied around. He hasn't signed. He a player that would be on your radar, Johnny?
Josh Kelly.
No, not Josh Kelly. There's another. Sorry, who did I say? Josh Kelly. There's another GWS player. I think we're looking at. Was it Williams? Zach Williams. Yeah. Sorry about that. That was Josh Kelly. Yeah, Zach Williams. He's actually playing. So, is he on your target?
Zach Williams, yes, as a quality midfielder, not as a back flanker. Yeah.
So we'll have to make sure we look after him on the weekend. Don't rough him up too much.
Yeah, but look, my viewpoint still stands and will stand for the next few years, is that you've got to be really careful bringing in someone on big bucks, because we've got people coming through the system who are going to command big bucks that we just won't be able to afford in our salary cap. Look at Sam Walsh. He's on second-year wages at the moment. What is he going to command out in the open market? So you've just got to be really, really careful.
Yeah, I don't know if Zach Williams would necessarily be on those super bucks.
Correct. Yeah.
Certainly not, the type of money that we threw around or was talking about for Canelio and that other GWS douchebag that went to Essendon.
Kelly, we had a big swipe at too.
Yeah.
I think that was ridiculous money, like 1.4, 1.5 a season.
Yeah.
Which means a lot of people have got to go when they start to fruit.
And talking about players going, if we're going to look at the players like Williams and Papley, we maybe have to give up a few. I'll throw a few names at you in terms of let's say it is Zach Williams and Papley, and I'd like to also put this through to the audience as well on players that you would give up. Let's say for those two players, one in particular. Would Paddy Dow be on the trade table for those guys, or the swap table? Maybe Zach Fisher potentially be part of an opportunity to change hands in that space. Would you give up those players for the Papleys and the Williamses?
Well, Dow's been heavily linked to the Papley trade, which you say is a done deal. So I would say that's heavily likely. I think O'Brien's another one. He's out of favour. It doesn't mean he's a bad footballer, but he could easily find his home elsewhere.
Marchbank, another one that was potentially talked about. Really bullish on Marchy, but he just hasn't been able to get it on the park, has he? He's probably one you would give up for a Papley if it was needed to be done.
Marchbank, no, don't like that.
Okay.
No, not for me. Papley for a Dow and draft picks, yeah.
I just think with Marchy we've got probably a few options down there covered with his spot, and in terms of running midfielders, I would prefer to give up a Marchbank for me over a Paddy Dow. I think Paddy Dow still got plenty of good footy left in him. As his body grows, I think he can be an A grader.
Yeah, I agree with that, but you've got to give up something. I think if Marchbank gets fit, that's the big if. Well, that puts SPS in the midfield then, doesn't it, where we all want to see him play.
Alrighty, so yeah, interesting times ahead with the trade period and who we would and who we wouldn't give up. It's interesting times ahead for sure.
I'm interested in this one, Greg, because you mentioned it earlier and I forgot to put it up. Where's that talk from? What's the source there? Talk is Dow going to Geelong for a first rounder and then first rounder for Papley. I don't see it happening this year because it's such a compromised draft that we'll have, our first round pick will be somewhere near 60. There's so many father, sons and academy picks and all that shit. Maybe next year's first round might be.
Brennan Scott clearly is trying to get on my goat, you prick, Brennan, and saying let's give up Levi. That's not going to happen, of course. Levi's going to sign a 10-year contract and be around for a little while.
Yeah, Brendan, I like that, mate, because all of a sudden he's got currency. It's we tried to get rid of him when he had no currency and no one was taking. Now he's got great currency, so that's what it's all about, isn't it? Steam coming out the ears.
Look, I hate to say it, but you are correct in what you're saying, and I'm going to turn in my grave tonight. But with Charlie on the way back next year, and Harry and McGovern maybe, there possibly will be players. TDK, yeah, potentially going to be players asking about Levi.
Yeah.
Darcy Lang for Papley, yeah, that might be a hard trade. We might we could try to get that across.
If anyone could get that over the line, that would be the best salesperson of all time.
Brad Miller's just made my night. Levi's brother-in-law lives behind me, and he's close to signing a new 2-year deal. Is that the same fence I climb over to see Levi when he's out in the back? No, that's good news. I did hear some whispers about that potentially happening.
He won't get a 2-year deal. He won't get a 2-year deal. If he signs a 2-year deal, we are idiots.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see about that. Silvani to come back. Yeah, another player that can play that forward role. Good. There's some other Levi lovers around. That's good as well. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, we don't offer him any more than 1 year.
Just speaking about Charlie Curnow, as part of our sponsorship with the fantastic Jack Martin, we're able to have a chat to some players and Crane Little and the president last night. They gave some exclusive insight into life at the hub, where the club's at. We had a chance to hear from Charlie himself, to young Kemp, as well as also to Nick Newman. First things first. Basically, Kane and Charlie said that if the season was 3 weeks longer, he'd be probably playing, starting to play some footy. So that's good news, and all we need to do is keep him off the basketball court for a fit and firing Charlie Curnow come pre-season.
Well, I've got the simple solution to that: make the grand final, put him in the grand final. Done. Job done.
I did ask that question. I did ask that question. It did get overlooked, but I don't know if it was 3 weeks after the grand final or 3 weeks after the regular season. But yeah, we can dream. We can dream. Kemp as well spoke really, really well. A quality young man. He said that his rehab was tracking perfectly. He'd been working a lot with Doc, obviously, who's done the knee as well, so he's learning a lot off Doc. He'll be fit and firing come next year.
He'll be immense. Again, another one that we're going to have to eventually pay for. He was going to be pick 4. That's a theoretical pick 4 in a super draft until he did his knee. Yep. So that goes to show you what we've got.
Yep. Andrew Lake says Cunningham, another player who may have currency. Good point. For me, I'd happily shop Cunners around. Don't think he's the Mr. Consistent, but has shown a bit to be able to be offered, and good spot to be in. We've got players that potentially do have that currency for us to just top up our list with the players that we need.
Heathen.
Well, you did have a crack at Levi, so we're even now. And that was Andrew Lake.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
All righty, so tomorrow night, hang on, Brendan Scott says, would Cruiser go to GWS for 2 years? That is one spot they lack. If he was able to play a full year, could be their premiership key. Oof. It'd be hard to see Cruz go, but it's an interesting point he makes.
Did Andrew Lake be able to tell us, did they have a crack at him at the end of last contract? I reckon they did.
You couldn't see Cruz is out of contract, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
You couldn't see him getting more than 1 year with us. I think it's an interesting proposition. Maybe they would have a crack at him. Maybe it might be good for Cruz to head out into some other pastures and see if he can do well in another team. And if he can get 2 years, I wouldn't begrudge him of having a crack somewhere else.
Thanks, Andrew. Just backed me up there. Said yes, they had a good crack at him. Look, would he now, Andrew? Another question for you, as our Carlton Google, is Cruiser now an unrestricted free agent? So they may not have to trade for him.
Probably is.
Yeah, I'm guessing yes.
It's a good question. Thank you, Scotty, for putting that one out there. It's one to contemplate, and we've talked about where Cruz sits in and whether he's going to be able to come back. We've said before he's got probably one more crack at it with the Blues if he gets another year, and then that'll be it for him. It'll be nice. We expect to climb up the ladder next year, so it would be great, to see him get some success in the navy blue, but we wouldn't begrudge him having a crack somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right. And Andrew Lake's backed me up again. Yes, he would be. He would be unrestricted free agent.
And Andrew Lake makes you look way too smart. You should just get an earpiece in and just channel him, and that would work for you.
Brilliant.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Thursday night, it's going to be a long weekend if we don't do well tomorrow night. Yeah, hopefully the boys come out. I haven't looked at the weather forecast. It's probably beautiful up there in Brisbane, but hopefully the boys come out and learn from Sunday. It's going to be probably a 10 times bigger challenge, to be honest. GWS now have found some form. Unfortunately, we seem to run into the teams when they find some form, and then teams like Hawthorn go and play Adelaide and get done. It's disappointing, but it's going to be a hard one, like you said, Johnny. It's in our hands, and not beyond us. Our best footy to have a crack at the Giants and win it. We need to shut down some key movers, Canelio, Green, Whitfield. I think Cameron and Wiedering matchup will be pretty strong. That'll be a good matchup to see. It's going to be a really tough game and good for our boys to do well.
Yeah, well, I think they'll be breathing fire, to be honest. They will be absolutely livid at themselves for what happened against Collingwood. So expect that first quarter that they will go full on. If we don't beat GWS, and it's then down to the Brisbane game, and they're playing on their home turf and playing absolutely brilliant football. So that's as hard an assignment as you'll get.
It's going to answer some questions, isn't it, about some players, about what they want to do and whether they want to be part of the team, moving forward, and whether they want to play finals. The intensity is going to be asked. It's going to be asked this week, and see how they respond. It's going to be the true test. We know we've had some really good games where our intensity's been full on for the full 4 quarters, and that's really going to be the key. It's going to come down to that, I think.
Yeah. So in terms of Liam Stocker, Lana's very right there. He's still in Melbourne, with personal issues and won't be back. Obviously, he's got to go through 2 weeks quarantine anyway. Look, he's still, highly rated by the club. Just needs to work on his endurance to make 4 quarters of AFL football. Don't worry about him. They've got massive raps.
Yep, no, I agree with that. He's going to be back fit and firing next year. That's for sure. Some other questions before we go, Greg. Are we a destination club? We have to be now. We've shown that we can compete with the best teams. We can show we can beat the best teams, and we've got some good players there. So I think we are a destination club. So yes, for sure. All right, let's finish up the show. Let us know your thoughts on what do you think we will win by, ladies and gentlemen. We want to hear your tips. 1 point would be very nice, even though it'll be a heart starter. Johnny, you said that we can win this. Are you confident?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, like I said, we'll be breathing fire. And if we're not, then there's something heavily wrong with us. So I'd say 3 goals at least, and we'll just go again, and then we'll come up against Swans and Adelaide, and then we'll go again with them. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with where we sit at the moment.
Eric Salton says 1 point. Vicky Ann Purcell, ever faithful. Love to hear that. Vicky Ann, 17 points. Have a good night to you. Scotty Nolan, 15 points. Lana Owen says 11 points. Brendan Scott says dash 36. I don't know if that's down by 36, but probably means we're going to lose. Debbie O'Connor, 29 points. Number 29, who's that for Carlton? I'm not sure who that could be. Greg
Paulson's just going to point.
Grego, 7 points. Close one says Adrian, 8 points. We don't want to lose this one, Adrian, because then you'll have to take Friday off, and you take 2 more days off. We can't have that happen. But if you need me to write you a note to your boss, then let us know. Scotty Nolan says Mackay 6 goals. Oh, that'd be very, very nice.
He's due, I reckon. He's due. Just got to get everyone out of his bloody way.
Yeah, you just need to jump that little bit higher too. Anthony Walsh, percentage booster, 39 points. That will do. Eric Salton, need to get more physical. Come on, Johnny, give us your physical.
Let's get physical. Bit of ONJ, come on.
No, stick to. We were rooted by the umpires. That's more your style.
I reckon that's got number 1 on it. Yeah.
Adrian Hines, RDO Friday, nice one, very good. Just a nice setup in there to Father's Day. No height in their back line. That's a very good point, Scotty. That's it might maybe the chance to bomb it in there now is the way to go with that option. Paul Quixley says 3 points. That'll be a good result too. Russell Dobson, another Bulldogs-like win, 52 points. Ooh, that would be bloody awesome. Johnny's got the old Xanadu on hand.
Yeah, my tribute to the wonderful combination of ELO and ONJ. So fantastic stuff. I bought this for $1 at a record shop in the Gold Coast. Fantastic stuff.
You did well there. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. We might do a pre-show tomorrow night. We'll see what happens, Johnny. It was fun doing a pre-show last week.
Yeah, it was good. It's because I think all of our personalities change a little bit when it's before game day because we get that sort of white line fever and it's that. You and I were as tense as anything last week in the Collingwood game. It was fever pitch, so I really enjoyed that. But I think we'll get it again.
Lana Owens clearly has some problems with her computer speakers there. She loved your singing the other night, so you have to go get that checked out, Lana.
What was that? Was that Behind Blue Eyes? I really enjoyed doing that. That was great.
Lana's not related to you by chance, is she?
No. Okay. But it's in the mail.
There might be a spot available. There might be a good way to get to the grand final, mate. We're good looking for some good Australian talent for the halftime entertainment.
Yeah. I would. Look, this is a dream of mine, and it's not without the realms of possibility. I would see, and you've heard this first, that grand final entertainment will be Powderfinger reunion.
Okay, that's a very big scoop there from Johnny. That'd be awesome. And can we get a bit of Xanadu as well by chance?
Oh, look, they will definitely play it. It's high on their list of songs they want to do at a grand final.
No, I meant can we get Olivia Newton-John in?
Yeah, well, she's great Carlton supporter. Yeah, I'm sure she'd love to have a go. She's done it before, has she not?
Yeah, I think she's done it actually at a Carlton grand final. Andrew, where are you? What year did Olivia Newton-John sing in the grand final for 10 points? And that'd be very nice. Okay, everyone, really appreciate you joining us on a Wednesday night. Thank you very much. Tomorrow is game day, so not long to wait. We won't need to worry about baking cookies and muffins and cheesecakes, Johnny. It'll come pretty quickly for the day tomorrow if we're working.
Yeah, it's still, 8:10 or 7:50 or something, so it's still, a late one. But I'm really going to enjoy the game before. Like I said, I've just got a feeling.
I've got a feeling, tomorrow night's gonna be a good night.
There you go, Olivia 1986. It was a Carlton grand final. Unfortunately, the wrong one.
She needed to go to the next one. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. We love all you guys. Really appreciate your contribution and your input. Sorry if we didn't get to any comments or questions. It's been thick and fast tonight. Appreciate our regular guests joining us and their input. And we will see you pre-game tomorrow for the game.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Go the Blues.
Night.